So topic 4 is the duties and responsibilities you have if you're going to become a franchisor.
This is your work now, your responsibility.
Now, number 1 is that now that you have become a franchisor, your client has just changed. Your client is now your franchisee. It's no longer the clients that you used to serve in your business. Your top client now is your franchisee, which means that you need to make them happy so that in turn, they will be able to make your customers happy on your behalf. Okay. Number 2 is that your number 1 priority now is to ensure that your franchisees make money so that you make money as well. But beware, if you don't know your business numbers, your franchisees can make money, but you might not.
Millions of the franchise builds.
Now, I want you to stand in the viewpoint of a franchisee. You are charging franchise fees, royalty fees, setup fees, whatever, right? They have now need to take up their life savings to give this to you in the hopes that your franchise will be able to give them and their family a very stable and comfortable living, right? So your responsibility now is towards your franchisees because they have placed their trust and money and future in your hands. So this is critical, right? This is what I would always tell all my franchisees. Your number 1 priority now is your franchisee make money, okay? Because we want to be a responsible business, and this is step number 1, okay? Now, just a sidetrack, I once had a client where I made him write an apology letter to his franchisees when their locations closed down. Right? He said it was the hardest thing he had ever done before in his life, right? Admitting that he was wrong, but I told him you need to do so to gain their trust back, such that your reputation comes back, right? And I can't stress on this enough. Your franchisees really depend on you. Please do not let them down. Now, the third thing is that you need to provide support to your franchisees in all areas where possible. Training, HR, manuals, sales, accounting, maybe even helping them set up a corporation to become a franchisee. You need to provide as much help as you can, okay? Because the more value you give your franchisee, the better your market reputation as a franchisor, which in turn leads to them spreading the good word about you. In turn, it helps you get more franchisees in return.
This is the best.
So can you see the whole value proposition change, right? That is something that you need to be very aware of, okay? Support your franchisees whenever you can, or wherever you can, okay? Number 4 is that you need to develop the friendship between your franchisee and franchisor, okay? The reason is because you need to understand that somewhere down the road, things might not be as rosy as they seem, right? Or they are at the start, or they are now. At some point, it will happen, right? Trust me. So having a strong relationship with your franchisee will allow you to tide through these uncertainties or changes in the economic climate, or like maybe you say, hey, I want to change my menu, or I need to change this, I need to change that, because technically, in business, the only constant is change, right? So having a good relationship with your franchisee helps you mitigate some of those friction, when it comes to that point in time. Okay. Number 5, as a franchisor, you must be very aware of the changing market conditions. So, in a sense, if your product or service is not working at any point in time, you need to be very aware and quickly develop strategies to change and adapt to the market situation, because the faster you change, the faster you can let your franchisees change and adapt as well. So that is what will give you a long-term franchise business, right? If you think about it, just give a very simple example of like bubble tea, right? Suddenly 10,000 bubble tea shops pop up, everyone's selling the same thing, roughly at the same price. What's the growth strategy there? Adaptation is the key, okay? And lastly, number 6 is that you need to have a high quality business model. When we talk about the high quality business model, inevitably, I will need to talk about something called an invisible business model. Okay, let me give you an example. Right, I'm sure you guys all know about sari stores, right? So the business model of a sari store is that they buy from the suppliers at $1 and sell to the customers at $2, right? So they make $1 in the middle, and that is their business model. Now, I'm sure all of you guys know 7-Eleven.
It's 7-Eleven.
Right? Now, as you can see, 7-Eleven roughly sells the same products as a sari store. But do you think that 7-Eleven actually has the same business model as a sari store? Definitely not, right? And this is the business model of a 7-Eleven. So I know they sell, the prices of 7-Eleven is higher than sari store, fine. But we're talking about the business model here, right? So if you are a supplier and you want to sell your stuff at 7-Eleven, the first thing you need to do is you need to pay 7-Eleven a listing fee, right? To rent shelf space so that you can display your products at 7-Eleven to sell. Number two is that if you stepped out of your hotel in Makati, you would see 7-Eleven on your left and right, very near to each other, right? Within walking distance. Now, consider this. If you were a sari store owner, would you then open 2 stores so close to each other? Definitely not. So the reason why 7-Eleven does this is because they will charge the suppliers a delivery and transportation fee to deliver their goods to all their stores. So the more stores that they have, the more they can charge the suppliers, right? Number 3 is that 7-Eleven has so much buying power that they're able to convince or persuade the suppliers to give them consignment terms, probably 60 to 90 days, right? Which means that 7-Eleven, first of all, is a cash flow positive business. And number 2, they don't have capital stuck in inventory, unlike the sari store, okay? Number 4 is that they will also charge the suppliers for marketing and advertising of their products. And number 5, 7-Eleven does franchising as well. So if you look at the business model of 7-Eleven, it's a high quality business model for the headquarters and the franchisees as well, right? So the invisible business model is like this. There is a front business model that everybody sees, and there is a back business model that nobody sees. So for 7-Eleven, they are a sari store at the front, and their invisible business model is actually a logistics, advertising, and franchising company. Do you see the difference? It's not really about, or rather, it's not so much the product that you sell, rather than the way you design your business to sell your product or service. That is what your franchisees are paying you for. The way you have designed your business model to sell your product or service that enables it to be scalable and sustainable into the future. That's why people pay you money.
Just do your duty.